Hello, everyone. And there we are. We're back. And wait, I remembered this. You have to toot your own horn. Oh, man.
Don't mention the horn.
Yeah, I chose a couple yesterday because when I miss a week, I don't know, it just all throws me off. It seemed like forever. I was so used to doing these. Like a week of not doing it was pretty crazy to me, actually. And the other thing is, I couldn't believe we did 16 of these already. That blows my mind. We probably even did one or two more. That's crazy.
Who counts when you're having fun?
I know. And what else was I gonna say? So there's a couple things. One, I did a game by Tabletop Minions and Warhammer. Vince Ventrella came out called Rain in Hell. So I did, I think six. I did a number of illustrations for them, and they're in the book. You can go to raininhellgame.com to check it out. They announced it, right, and they did a couple videos about it, and then like a couple people did a review of the game, so it got good reviews from those people. But me, I don't. I'm like watching the videos, and then they like someone would say something about the artwork. I'm like, okay, they said something good about the artwork. Like, seeing what they say, like, oh, this artwork was terrible. It killed the book. It's like, oh god. So it was just funny looking for it just to hear what was said. But
the demon thing.
yeah, this was one of them, and I'm going to be putting the time lapses up shortly. And so a couple of them are up, but I'm going to be putting them on the YouTube for these. And let me see, where's another one? This one. I put this one on Instagram, and it's going to go up on YouTube as a short. I like this one. I think Vince, I think, painted this one, if I recall right. And I don't know where they were mostly. I think there's a lot of 3D. They used some 3D printed miniatures and a couple from the stores. I know they've talked about it in some of their review stuff, but I'm not sure where this mini came from. But I really dig it. And so,
very impressive.
Thank you. And yeah, they do. I mean, the other thing is, Adam from Tabletop Minions, he photographed a lot of these, and you can just tell, people are really into it, and he has like design and art experience and everything. So the lighting, they put the cool lighting on the models already, so I could like play into it and everything. So I was all geeked when I got them. I'm like, oh yes, like this one I did in black and white. It had that nice shadow under the arm already. And where is it? I wonder if I have the picture in here.
I say it's like the artwork that you've worked into there. It immediately sort of like jumps out to me. So some of like the older sort of role play games I used to play, and you had text, then awesome piece of artwork in there, sort of thing. Which you could just see that's been taken out of one of those books or put in books in this case. But no, that's really really cool.
Well, thanks. I did most of them. I tried to do so. They're PDF. Well, and obviously they print. So there's a PDF version that you can get, and it's real. It's like $10 for the PDF and like 15 if you want the PDF and a print on demand book sent to you. So the print on demand is black and white. Yeah, it's real. It's cool, and it's miniature agnostic, so you don't have to have like specific miniatures or any of that kind of stuff. And so that's out. And it's just, you have a cabal, it's a group of demons, and you just kind of fight for hell. And I haven't played it yet, so a couple reviewed it, and then I got my copy. I didn't get the print book yet, but I got, the downloadable and that. So make sure to check that out. And then what else? Oh, the most important thing, I just thanks to everyone out there, because I like tweeted a few things and just the amount of like replies and responses and like retweets, and I've seen people like just trickling in now to like YouTube and following on Instagram. Like that all really helps me, you know. And like that's how the more eyes that get on it, the more you know, I have a chance at getting work and stuff like that. So that all just because I wouldn't even get any of this kind of stuff if it wasn't for everybody retweeting. So I'm very grateful for that. I appreciate it and for tuning in. So wait, oh, we got King Crimson in here. Oh, you already responded to him. I ain't gonna read the
Well,
Forge of Mars because
called
that's
me by
you.
name. He summoned. But yeah, no, it's so that Raining Hell. I got an AOS Ironjaw's warband, and his orcs went through the war, ended up in hell.
He that was the other thing I noticed for 40K. They upped the toughness on orcs.
Mm. Yeah, that
So
was quite
that was
surprising.
interesting.
I know a fair few orc players, and they've been quite vocal over the last couple of years about how bad orcs are. With everything. Yeah, they've got guns that fire lots of bullets, but they don't have the ballistic skill. They don't really have the
They're like downgraded in everything, basically. You
yeah.
know?
But no, having toughness 5 will make a huge difference to a lot of the games now, because obviously they can take the abuse.
Yeah,
Which because
they are
should be
like they're supposed to be crazy tough.
yeah. They're strong and tough. They might not be intelligent, but pretty ice cream van.
Is it?
Yeah, just going around out there.
I want an ice cream truck.
But yeah, with toughness 5 on the boys, that's probably going to make a few people quite happy, no doubt. They still make a horrible green mess when you shoot them with plasma weapons, but still.
What have you? What have you finished? I saw you put a really cool picture in this week's submissions, but like I can't do them. It seems what nepotism or what's the word? What
Yeah. Well, I knew that. I thought I put it in there just as an example of.
It was great. Yeah. I was looking at. I was thinking of combining it. And what was that again?
That was a Warbringer Nemesis Titan, which is the 3rd largest Titan that they've brought out, which is technically in the middle because there's only 5 Titans. But yeah, no, it's like the Nemesis designation means, or it used to mean, they might retcon it, but it used to mean that it had a weapon system which was from a class higher up.
Oh,
so
right. I actually kind of knew that.
Cannonite Roof is a Warlord class weapon, whereas its arm weapons are Reaver class.
Okay.
So it's a mixture of the two, but they're actually quite tough, and they are, they're quite formidable on the tabletop. So I got a lot of respect for them. So that was one of my Christmas / birthday presents.
Oh yeah, yeah.
With my many stuff that I got for Titans.
What did you do? Are you? So I've seen you do a couple now, and you did a couple on live stream. What are you like? Are you doing like one a week almost, or shorter than that? What did you say?
Pretty much. My production levels have slowed right down because of like work.
Yeah.
And I don't. Time I get back, it's I'm dealing with stuff I've got to do, chores around the house.
You got life stuff to deal with.
General life stuff. So my hobbying has dropped right down. So obviously with the live stream on Saturdays, that's where I've been doing a lot of my work. To be
That's
fair.
cool.
And in between, on normally like maybe a little bit on a Sunday night if I'm not too tired, a little bit on Monday if I'm not too tired, and just little dibs and dabs where I can. So yeah, I'm taking it easier because normally I would have done like several Titans over a course of a week, but I just don't have the time two several times.
Yeah,
So
and that's but still, sometimes you just gotta. And if you try too hard, it might like spoil it. You know what I mean? If you get your getaway and you can enjoy putting models, and if you turn it into a job, it might not be the most fun thing. You know?
yeah, that's true. And I say I don't want to sort of like not say burn myself out, but
Yeah.
because I'm heading towards that the magic number of 100.
Yeah.
I'm just taking it easy and creeping along.
That is yeah.
I get there. So that's the plan anyway. I'm sticking to it. So it's just I'm just trying to juggle which Titans to do next. So that one was my 95th.
Okay.
So I'm just deciding: do I do some Reavers next? Do I do a couple of Warhounds? Because I want to leave my last War Master to be number 100. So just to make it a little bit more special, in a way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Paul Sutton. Oh wait, I have this. Wait, where's my? I need a list. God, everyone knows by now what they're tuning in for, so you know what the production quality we're dealing with here.
Yeah, this is high end stuff.
Yeah, this is. We were talking reality. All right, Paul Sutton. So, Paul, thank you very much for joining the Patreon. I didn't have time. I wanted to tweet it out, and thank you. So I'm glad you got to make it. I really appreciate that. It helps. It goes towards I always have to get, the software a lot. So, and some of them have the monthly subscription thing, which I hate. I hate extra monthly subscriptions because then it's like another bill you got to pay. That money goes towards those, and that really helps. Like it's a relief, and you're like, oh hey, that one's paid off now, with the Patreon. So I'm not really revamping it, but there's an issue with me not using it properly, and then it's another platform where someone has to go. So there's so many like platforms, it's like, okay, are they following me on Twitter? Are they following me on Instagram? Is it YouTube? Or then is it like the Patreon and all that stuff? So King Crimson says coffee up AE. Yeah, I had iced coffee today. So I'm trying to just formulate a better plan with that, and it's in the works so that I can have kind of all the content going to the right way. I'm not used to that stuff, you know what I mean? It's a whole business in and of itself, just getting the content out and where it starts and all that. It's like I'm gonna start kind of on the blog, so then the blog post can be used in the appropriate places, and it can be used like in the Patreon and stuff like that. So I'm putting it together. That was a long-winded thank you, but thank you, Paul Sutton. And this is his Star-Lord. So that's what I'm working on right now. I'll show, since he's here, I will show you the time lapse. I was impressed. I was gonna grab a planet, like a photo planet. I'm like, I'll just put a planet and then mishmash it. And I was like, you know what? Let me try. I'm like, I haven't just done one. Like, let me try to like mock up a planet and see how it would go in here. And for doing it quick, it came out pretty well. That was the one part I was like, okay, that looks cool. I want, it's Star-Lord, so I want to kind of put him in space. And so it's like, let's try to get some space action in there and have him flying up and shooting. So
there's a good thing he's really seeing this is in space. Could have been a very short experience for him. But no, the way you've done the planet there used to be like, on Facebook, you always get those little videos come up of artists doing stuff. I mean, like street artists in particular, where they'll take something and then like they'll be throwing stuff down on top of their canvas or piece of paper, and spray cans and all that. I always remember there was one guy who was using all these random colours, and you're thinking, what is he doing? What is he doing? And then it was like slowly come together, and then suddenly he takes off this thing, and then it's like, oh, that looks like a planet. And then he starts doing, it's like 2 or 3 minutes to knock up this sort of this painting just by like street artist extreme. And that just sort of had that same sort of look, the way that sort of came together there. It's like you're there with a spray can.
That stuff has always amazed me. Like you know, a lot of the artists and stuff, what they can do, especially when they have like, their own like little quirky style of how they work. You know, it's like, oh, they'll be somehow like splattering or whatever, doing something, and it all comes together in this huge, you know, picture. Like whenever I do artwork, it's always like it's like wrestling or something. You know what I mean? It's like nothing comes out. Like some of these artists you watch, it's like, oh, nice, this smooth line, and then here's this whole figure, you know, and it's all done. I'm like blocking it in, and then like subtracting or adding, and then like you know go through the process that way.
And then you get it in a headlock and then do a
Yeah,
giant
that's what
super.
you have to. Yes, you have to wrestle it down. Either you wrestle it down or it wrestles me down. But whatever. That's my that's art for me.
Nice. I love the colours because it makes him stand out even more. You
I
know,
know. I
when you're
went.
mixing what you
So
got
what did
there.
I do? I put. I forget how I chose this one because I think I looked at the color wheel, and I was like, and I knew they used yellow and green in the movie, or well, yellow a lot in the movie, which it's one of the things it's like odd for movies to use yellow as one of the main colors. So there's
Mm.
very few. I think like probably whatchamacallit did it too, I think of with Chris Tucker and Bruce Willis, Fifth Element. They had a lot of yellow in that. But I started with yellow, and it was almost like I could have maybe put the planet in yellow if I wanted, but I wanted the laser blast to pop out, you know. So then I was like, okay, do like a teal blue. You got the green, you got the blue that goes with the red, and then that way, kind of laser blast will like peek out. So at first I put yellow, but then I decided on this color just because of how I could have light around it. I
I like the way the light where it's like the sun's creeping over the horizon on the planet, and you can see the light reflecting onto that leg there.
Yeah, yeah, that
And
one
that's
was, I was like, okay, I got to do that, and I should put some like on the back and that kind of thing. And that's the details when I do the commission ones. I'll like go and put all the extras on these. I try to like make it look good, and then I'm trying to do 3 of them today. I hadn't done it in a week, so of course I don't know what I get nervous about, but I still get like nervous. Like, I don't know, man. It's all gonna fall apart. You haven't done one in 10 days. You could, anything can happen. It's like what? How do you psych yourself out? Like like it's just art. I mean, you're not even doing surgery or anything. You're not doing anything. Just drawing some stuff. Chill, bro.
it's all right. You're amongst friends. We're all here for
Yeah.
you. We'll help you through. It's
Yeah.
definitely a little puff of magic there.
I followed comics pretty good back, but I was not familiar with Star-Lord and them when the movies came out. And I liked his character in the movies. I thought it was an entertaining one. So I learned more about, I knew some of them from in the books, but I never like read any of those or anything. So I didn't know much about the character.
Well, I think with this iteration of the like Guardians of the Galaxy
Mm-hmm.
that the film is based off of, I think there are characters within that which Dan Abnett, who writes for Games World Black
Yeah.
Library, he also writes for Marvel and other companies as well.
Yeah.
And he was working on Guardians of the Galaxy comic book.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
the latest edition that these characters are based from. So I think I'm not sure. I don't think he actually created
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
Rocket.
But just worked on them.
Yeah, he basically brought them to life in the only way Dan Abnett can do. He does like a comic, does Dan. But yeah, because his names are in the credits when you watch the film.
Oh, I didn't know that. See, you learn something on this show all the time.
Yeah, so I think he actually went to the premiere in London as well.
I should try to get some stars, a couple stars down there. What's a good way to do
My
stars?
God, it's full of stars.
It's full of stars. What was that, Space Odyssey?
Close.
What was that from? Now I didn't. I saw it not within a couple years, but I can't remember it. It's cool.
2010.
Oh, it was 2010.
Well, no, I'm down. So I know they definitely said it in. It might have been 2001. They might have
No, I
repeated
think But I think you're right. I don't know.
But I think it's when the Russian guy in the little
Yeah, 'cause-
probe ship, and he's like,
yeah.
"Woo!"
Oh, maybe there.
Oh,
Oh yeah, he's eating, but that's because we're a reality show, and he had to rush back from after work. I
yeah,
know now. Wait, the other thing is, so now a couple I signed. I don't know how much I can run my mouth, so I don't even. So this came out, and then I signed a for just some. I'm hyped about it for another game company, and I got like 10 of them to do, and now I forget where the story was going to go.
Was it the thing that you were
I
telling me
can't do
before?
this when I'm drawing it. Oh, no, it's even better because I'm thinking, wait a second. So the company that can be hired be watching one of these shows, you know what I mean? And I'm like, it's starting out, it's starting out all rough, can't get the right stuff in. I'm like, I'm being watched by someone who's going to hire me. I'm like, they'll probably like, yeah, we're going to cancel that. we know we ordered some illustrations for you, but we caught the live show. And we're just gonna nip this in the bud.
Yeah, that's a cancel culture for you.
Yeah. Cancel
Especially
myself.
if you've signed NDAs and then you start telling everybody online.
Yeah, no, and that's why I just in general, I just assume I hush everything, and then I'll like specifically ask. You know what I mean? Be like, so I'll do that later. But it just cracked me up because I'm like, oh gosh, I'm gonna be watched by people who might hire me or did hire me or something.
Yes. Yes, you
Yeah,
have
it
to be
makes it
careful with that.
entertaining. It makes it fun.
Exactly. That's what we're here for. We're here to
Exactly.
entertain the crowd. The
You
people
never
that are
know. You
here.
never quite know what's going to happen.
Now, obviously, we've never been able to think of a proper name for this Wednesday night over
So
shenanigans that we
you
do.
suggested for Paintover Wednesday to call it POW,
Mm.
and I think I like that. Like it's short. I try to see it as the header for like the video image, right? And so like what is grabbing and what is there. And I think if I put POW on it, you know what I mean? It might be kind of cool. And then it's like, how could you tag it? So I mean, we still got some time, and I should like talk to more people because we do need a title because I'm like I need a title card, and then our images or something that kind of does it like just a nice one, and I haven't made it yet. So, did you have any additional thoughts on it?
I've had additional doubts. I questioned myself. I woke up in the middle of the night going, is this the right direction we want to go in? I don't know.
I know. Okay, so then we're at the same. Yeah, and at a certain point, I'm like, oh, just call it something that you can always change. Like it's not like we're branding it. I'm not getting a tattoo.
Oh, talking about tattoos. No. Here goes Power Wednesday.
That's what I mean. It's like comic booky, dorky, whatever. I'm like, it's not even bad. So I'll have to think about that too. And of course,
Yeah.
open to
Well,
any suggestions. So I just haven't spent a
normally,
lot of time thinking about it, but we definitely need one.
like I'm great for naming stuff, and hashtags and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
This has been one of the hardest things because obviously you want to convey what happens
Yeah. Yeah.
and when it happens, and it's just not going together.
I know. And
The
it,
synapses are not working.
it's the same with when I like, okay, well, what do you do? And it's like, well, miniatures, and then like, a picture of a miniature, and then I photo edited it, it's like there's no clean way to kind of say it for me at least. So, I've been working on that, and I think that's the same issue we're running into with what to name it.
And I have this English guy who sits there eating
Yeah,
dinner,
yeah. Then how do you,
drinking.
and then like, what do we talk about? Like, I don't know. We didn't even talk about anything yet.
Yeah. This is high production, but you
Yeah.
cannot learn this. This is a gift. This
Yeah.
is
Like, good
I
thing I
don't
don't
think
take myself seriously, or else I would never do this.
the totally not serious paint
Yeah.
over Wednesday show.
We'll
Maybe a
get
bit
there.
long.
We'll get there. In my defense, we will get. You're already good. Like your show on a Saturday probably has more viewers than with both of us. I'm probably dragging you down.
That's all sympathy because I put on all the computers in the house just to watch me.
Yeah. I know.
But I say that was yeah. I'd say the last couple of ones have been okay. I think I don't because what's our highest number we've had? I think it was about 15, 16.
Yeah, we got up there a few
So I
times.
don't think I've hit that sort of dizzy heights
Mm-hmm.
at all. But it's just I know like a couple of times where friends who basically was at a loose end, they just tuned
Yep.
in, stuff like that. Yeah, one friend, Scott, I didn't realize he was actually watching. He was actually texting me on my phone saying
Oh,
like,
okay.
"Oh, I'm watching you." Oh, all right. And he was actually it was his first time painting this year, like hobby
Really?
painting. Yeah,
Oh,
so he had
that's an
things on
honor.
the background whilst he was painting. So he's just like, because we used to do um, like a paint club as we called it.
Okay.
Uh, on a Monday night, I would go from work, go around to his. My other friend would come round, and we would just sit there and hobby paint and chat and stuff.
Yeah.
Um, so, and you find yourself when you're doing things like that, it's quite good because it inspires you and it helps you sort of like move along with your own hobby.
And that's
Uh,
that's
you
how
know,
I feel about just like the interaction in here. And Mechanical Frog said, "Hey guys," and I just want to say, Mechanical Frog, thanks for joining the Patreon as well. So I appreciate that. I had a couple more people join, so now I'm like, oh man, I really gotta revamp it and like start doing a few things and everything. So I got some plans for that because, especially now as it's growing, it becomes, I'm like, oh gosh, it can grow. Like at first I just do something because I'm like, oh, just do it, I don't even know like what's going to come of it. I'm like, I assume nothing, but then you just work at it and see what happens. So now it starts growing, and it's like, okay, well, if you have 13, 14 members, like why don't, like, you can grow it, you already got to that, why don't you start working on the content and things like that. So that's
mm,
part of, probably not this month or next month, but like the month after, I'm really going to start, at least 1 month after, going to start, revamping some stuff and getting some cool things for them, because I want to start little, I still haven't ran any like little merch, so I want to make a few things and everything, because I guess I don't want to just like put something out there to put it out there. Like I would rather have like, hey, something like I'm involved with the community, talk to them, something that works or whatever. So I don't know. I'm gonna end up doing something soon enough.
I, I was just thinking like beer coasters.
I know. It'll be some fun ones, because I'm like, as the show goes, I'm like, I'm digging it more and more and how it works, and so that stuff's going to be coming to me. So I got this one for now. I'm going to sit on it for the night, and maybe in the morning I'll just put a few little light tweaks on the planet or something. But he looks good to me. He looks like up in front, and I think I got the lighting right.
It is like a comic book, box where the action's going through. Star Lord boosts
Mm-hmm.
up, couple shoots the bad guys, and then does a little
It
loop
was a
loop.
great painted model. I loved it. I was impressed. I mean, it took forever for Marvel to have models I liked that were coming out. You know what I mean? Like, I think those are excellent. Oh, and
So
another
even if you
thing.
put like a Marvel header above it, you could see that being like the front page of
Mhm.
a comic book. You know,
Oh yeah, if you
it's,
left room for the header, it would totally fit right above there. I should do that later, because you're right. If I just pulled it up a little bit and did it, it would work as a cover. Huh? Good call, Lee.
yeah.
And for the 5 people watching, I should have done. If you like my artwork, you should definitely pick up this next month's issue of White Dwarf. So I'll leave it at that, but you should get issue 465. And I saw people talking about everyone was trying to get these decal sheets. So I was like seeing on Twitter, they're like, if anyone's not going to use it, can you can you give me your Tome Keepers transfer sheets? And King
Yeah,
Crimson would be
I
proud.
was just going to say about that, because this is the first time I've seen this. Because with black, like the infantry insignia, like the arrows and stuff
Yeah.
like that, certain like chapters use black, and black ones aren't that common. So
Yeah.
unless
Oh
if it,
yeah.
yeah, there'll definitely be like, you know, grabby. Um, I will grab a copy and I shall keep the decal because I'm a hoarder.
I know. I'm gonna like
Yeah,
tease people. I'll like put it on
yeah.
Twitter, show the decals just sitting there.
Yeah. Well,
So yeah,
there
if
you
you
go.
enjoy my
If you want
artwork,
to
you
get
should
rid of
definitely
them,
pick this
you can
up.
auction them off. A
Yeah.
signed one across the
Jack up the
front with the
price. Jack up the price and resell it.
details.
Toffee Troll, thanks for making it.
Ah, oh yes, yes. I have shaven.
I'm overdue
Nobody,
for a
nobody
shave.
else noticed it. Toffee Troll did. Yeah, I was having a little bit of a trim up, and I went and attacked the badger and realised that I hadn't set it to the right setting, like height setting on my clippers, and
Oh.
oh, so I took it off, and apparently, you know, people were saying, "Oh, you look better for it." So I look younger.
Oh, what does that say about me when I didn't even notice? Well, to be fair, that screen's really small on my phone.
Yeah, well, it's all right. I'm not upset.
I'm not hurt at all, man.
Don't notice me.
It's been a week and you only remember what I look like?
I'd just like to point out that this little beauty here, this little warhound, done by
What
a
is it?
hobbyist by the name of Johnny, or I can't. His Wuseko, I think, his tag was it
Oh,
WUSECO?
Walrus
Wuseko?
Taco?
Walrus Taco, yeah, that's it. Yeah, so I can't remember. But no, he done this. He's a part of a group that I sort of interact with, and I showed them my video of how to paint Solaria, and Johnny just took it to them, you know, took it, ran with it, and has created this wonderful piece of awesome. And now it's been done up
I
with a
missed
Paintover.
some of that. Wait, I was reading something over on the whatever and kind of looking up something, so I missed some of
Oh
that.
my God! You don't notice I've shaved, and you ignore me.
Oh my gosh! Let me edit this show out.
I'm crying. I'm crying.
Sorry, Lee, but I was not paying attention to you at all, dude.
Welcome to my life.
Oh gosh. No, this I saw it. I think they submitted it before, or I just saw it randomly, and I think I remember telling them I was like, "Hey, if I do a free Paintover day, make sure you drop it in because I'll remember it because like that action is just great and the camera angle. You know, I was like instantly, I'm like, okay, I gotta play with this one to see what I can do because it's you don't see Titans like this too much, you know, with that just kind of that much action in them, and so I wanted to get him in there, and they had some effects. I was like, okay, I can blur the leg some and make force the motion a little bit more, and so I was kind of looking forward to that, trying to blur this leg just a little bit in the back and a lot of little tricks to try to make it work. Oh, did Lee get bombed out? We might have lost Lee for a second, which maybe I hurt his feelings when I said I ignored him. Let me see here. How do I invite? Make sure I'm not. I'm going to resend him an invite just in case it matters. There. Guess now I'm all left alone. Yeah, Mechanical Frog, I agree. He said, great pose for the Warhound Titan, very animalistic, absolutely. That, and I always bring up that, that camera angle looking up. And I think for this type of model, especially the Titans, it looks really strong. And even units. It's the same with, like, if you look at a lot of the GW covers for their books, they're often always looking up because they're looking up at that power pose. Toffee Troll. By the way, AE, if you want to do a paint over on my Orc Titan, what is the price? Right now, I think it's around, it depends. I have to look at it to see. So it's like, it usually fluctuates. I do like 10 or 20 bucks can go towards like kind of prepping the image or how big it is or like some depth things. So a lot of times it starts around 90. So that's like a safe baseline. If there's bigger, more units, it's been going up to 150 or somewhere in there, but that's the range I try to stay in. I have to do it so I get for the hours, I get some money, and then I don't feel like I'm like, just trying to charge exorbitant prices because I do want people to have them, like my whole kind of point. So it's a little bit of a balancing act right now, but for right now, that seems to be about the price. Like, if anyone wants my artwork, I want to try to get it to them. And the thing that varies right now too is the more I do, the more I want to do. Oh yeah, Toppy Troll. Yep, you'll get a high definition file that's all set for printing, and then if you do want like a print, I basically, if someone commissions me, I can get a print off, and I basically get it to them for cost. So I don't really charge extra. I think maybe $5 extra or something. I don't know, somewhere in there, but so that's kind of, you can get the print, you know what I mean, and that way whatever. I have a printer here that if it's in the US, I print my own and send it, and then in the UK, I have a like a print on demand kind of thing. So that way it saves me from shipping across there. So I do, you know what I mean. I do offer that if you want to get a cool print. They're going to be available on different merchandise and stuff too. So I mean, a simple one. I don't like how. Oh, Sweden. We do Sweden. We can definitely get to Sweden. We'll take care of that. We're worldwide. AE worldwide. I think of. I was laughing with some people in Discord or even on Twitter. I forget, but the it was like Prestige Worldwide from Step Brothers, and I was like, yeah, that's like what my marketing department is like. AE Worldwide. Oh wait, do we got him back? Oh, he's back. Look at this. Oh, we pulled it off. I got him back in and didn't crash the whole system.
No, it was our system over here crashing.
Oh, okay. We're back.
Yeah, no, I think when you was last on, we was having a issue with flooding in the house.
Yeah.
That was the bathroom. There was a slow leak that I found from a pipe repair, and the kitchen ceiling I had to pull down the kitchen ceiling because it was dangerous. All the plaster had blown, and since then, the washing machine, which is located in a little cubby hole, has decided to leak where one of its waste pipes had come off.
Serious?
No, so that's hit the other end of the kitchen dining room, and then after repairing that, something else had gone wrong where where we tried testing it, and the pump that pumps the water to the drainage thing wasn't on, so it all backwashed. So we've had about several different floods.
Oh, especially water damage. Like that's,
Yeah,
besides fire, it's just like water is like, soaks in and you're
well,
trying to clean it and all that stuff.
and we'll say water destroys mountains given enough time. So
Yeah.
wood's not a problem. But yeah, so the last incident of flooding the other day, it's spread out a bit more and it's affected the lights in the kitchen area. So when you turn the lights on, because of the presence of water, it set the trip on the
oh yeah.
box. So that's what's happened. Where I was asked, "Do you think it's safe to turn the lights on?" And I thought, "It's had plenty of time to dry out. It should be fine." So it was all self-inflicted. It was all my fault. So yeah, that's what happened. I just went because I got
I was careful with that water and electricity mix.
yeah. So that's something for me to electrify myself.
The real life show. This is what we're dealing with.
Real life. This is ultimate reality. We come into our lives.
With the show, we don't even know what it's about or what it's named.
No, it has no name, and Scott does things with Warhorns and
do something. Procreate. Who know? Like, if I use Photoshop, I can at least say I'm photoshopping. Everyone knows what the word photoshopping means, but it's like you're procreating, and I can't say I'm photoshopping. So in some of the tags, I'll be like photo edit, photoshopping, how to use Procreate like Photoshop. Trying to like
because Procreate is something completely different.
Yeah,
in the bit
Photoshop, but not.
Yeah. Oh my God, he's procreating on live stream.
Yeah, come join me.
Come join me procreating with the Forge.
Check me out.
What?
Procreate. Wait, we don't want that.
No, well, we want to see painted models being painted over.
Yeah, we don't want paint. And like Paintover, like what is that? Like, so sometimes they would call it that, like art school or something where they would like digitally, like if you painted something, sometimes a teacher or someone would like paint over your picture. Like here, you need to, boost this leg up or, put some lighting here or whatever. So it's kind of like, that's where I just used it from that term.
Gosh. I'm just catching up on the chat. So, thank you very much, Toffee Troll. That's much appreciative. He says I look younger, which I do, to be fair.
Yeah, because I have like the goatee or whatever, and half beard, so I don't shave a lot of times, and so now I'm like, I think it's been like 10 days, so I'm like I'm well overdue. So I gotta like trim it all, shave it all at summertime, be presentable.
Sun's out, guns out.
Yeah. Get some sun on my skin.
Some vitamin D. And we also give health advice.
Yeah, probably very poor health advice. I'm always like, drink water. Just drink water.
Yeah. Hydrate and moisturize your skin.
Yeah, that's a good one. You can't really go wrong with telling people to do. Hydrate.
Yes. What I was saying was Johnny, aka Walrus Taco.
Okay.
I consider to be like somebody that like a Padawan in some respects, where they took what I taught with the Eligio Solaria paint scene on my YouTube.
Okay.
But Johnny has done a really great job with how he's done these and brought to life.
Yeah, and this thing it's incredible. That's why I was like, I wanted to do it so much. So kudos to him.
Yeah. I didn't sort of like say to him, "Oh, this is what you want to do."
Yeah, yeah.
Pay attention to what you asked for.
And my monster set.
I'd also like to just say to everybody, Happy Pride Month. Hope you're enjoying your times. the LGBTQ plus, and I think I've missed that one, but yeah,
Yeah. No, for
it's
real.
it's a great month, and everyone seems to be having a great time with things. So that's the main thing.
Yeah,
Let's
I
have
wish I
fun.
wish everyone could respect everyone all the time.
Yeah, let's just be cool. Let's treat people how we want to be
Just be
treated
cool.
ourselves.
That's all we gotta do is be cool.
Be cool, man. Woman,
Be
everyone.
cool.
So that's the main thing.
No one likes to be hated on. That was a big thing for me, even just the showing your artwork and stuff like that. So I've never been big on it. And this it it really helps me, like the community, like try things, because they're not like always trying to like shoot you down or something. You're like, hey, yeah, that's cool, try that, you know what I mean? And you can bounce ideas off them. And so I
Mm.
found that with everyone around, and like, the circles I'm interacting with just online, that it's been a huge positive influence on that. I talked to some of the people and like Patreon members and stuff. We'll chat and I bounce ideas off them and just like what I'm thinking and stuff like that. And it helps me kind of, you're prompted to do more, and it's like, okay, I should be drawing more a little bit, or I can try this on Paintovers, or so it's a lot of fun for me, because it's things I don't necessarily want to say I should have been doing before, but it's good to really experience now. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go with that. I get to try stuff, I get to work, so it's like get to work, try some stuff. That's why I got to give him a good shout out of thanks.
Live the dream.
Yeah, yeah, I will work at it. And it's so fun. They're such cool models. I can't believe the people submitting them. I was looking through the submissions. I'm like, oh my gosh, like it's almost like they keep getting better. And I think now, after we've had a bunch of these, and I'm kind of like, oh, hey, white backgrounds and use the up angle and stuff. A lot of people like followed that. So I keep getting like better and more pictures and nice and clean ones. And I'm like, oh gosh, I want to do a whole bunch of these.
Well, that's the thing. It's like, once everyone starts seeing, you're asking them to do, and
Yeah.
sometimes people just go like, "Oh, I think this looks better like this." But
Mm-hmm.
if you want to create something like this, going from that low angle, so you're looking up
Yeah.
and seeing, the way this warhound is like looking at me as it's about to turn and eat me. Um, that's what you're after, because it tells a story. The
It
way you
does.
sort
That
of.
was your man, and it's such a simple one, and I wouldn't have thought of it like that. When you did those 3 Titans or 4 Titans all on that line, like, oh man, that composition, it was like it just worked. I was like, oh, I can have this firing and that firing, and it doesn't even compete with each other. And I was just like, I was like, oh yes, they're all the stars are aligned, I was like, okay, because especially on the I don't on the ones for like this, where I'm trying to get them done fast, and the free ones, I try to grab ones that it just like whatever it triggers in my mind, that I know I have a sense of direction. You know what I mean? And if it's like commission, I'll try a few things. I'm like, okay, let me start with this, and then let me try that. Like I try to get it, and then with these, I'm just trying to like first shot. You know what I mean? I want to like hit the ground running and not spend the time redoing. And so that stuff helps. And obviously the one right thing I did is I when I'm doing these, I focused a lot on the speed. I was like, okay, let me get it done fast when I'm doing these free ones, because I have a tendency to like, I want this little line to be perfect, and that light should be this way, and you start racking up hours and hours on these, you never get anything done.
No, and so you do get that. Obviously, with Johnny's work, he's got that sort of pose where it's lurching forward. With the buildings there as well to help, because that's
Yeah.
when I first built like my sort of Solaria. That's when I started adding building from the Civitas kit to help sort of gauge size, to just
Mm-hmm.
show how big things are by having a small building there, and then experimenting with the way their stances are. Um, so you get that sort of sense of motion, because warhounds were always described as like sloping off
Yeah.
along the flank, running around. I've just finished listening to Mechanicum for about the fourth time the other
Okay.
day.
Oh, really?
I've gone straight into listening to Titan Death again for about the third time. and hopefully, well, I probably won't get Titan Death finished because on Saturday, Mortis is released.
Oh yeah.
Book, so I'll be going straight into that because I bought the ebook, and I've struggled with getting back into a reading rhythm because of how busy things are. You know, I would have like been at work and just sat there reading it, but so busy I can't even do that. So with the audiobook coming out on Saturday, I'll be listening to that as I drive to and from work, and enjoying all the Titan action in that, no doubt.
Yeah, and you got, well, it's not as good as a long drive, but since it's a little longer drive, you get to actually get a chunk of the story in and not like cut it off real quick or whatever, you know.
Yeah, it's a nice sort of like say 50 minutes on its average, but then like I say, you can get a nice bit of the book done, or you know, bits. And sometimes, you know, if I'm early, I might just pull over just to finish the chapter.
Yeah,
you know? Yeah. And but yeah, because from what I've read, I would really like to hear.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because there's some epic stuff in that. So from, as I said, I've only got a little way through from what I've read, but yeah, no, definitely one that I'm looking forward to.
Warhounds. That's plasma. It's plasma on his left arm, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Plasma blast gun, one of the most lethal weapons in Adeptus Titanicus.
Okay. And what's this thing?
Vulcan Mega Bolter.
Okay. So basically like a Titan's equivalent of a heavy bolter.
Heavier because it's a Gatling cannon, pretty much. So you've got 2 Gatling cannons there. So it's all firing large-scale bolter rounds, which is very devastating to infantry and Titan shields. So
because it can chip away at it real quick. Okay, it makes sense.
Yeah, because in the game, this loadout is probably one of the most commonly seen loadouts because you use your Vulcan Mega Bolter for stripping shields.
Yeah, and then hit them with the.
And then you hit them once the shields drop. You hit them with the plasma blast gun, because that gun, it fires twice, but because they use a template, if the template lands over the model, like the center hole, it doubles the hits. So you could get 4 hits out of 2 shots. And you normally they have a trait where you can boost the strength of the weapon. It's called maximal fire. The side effect is if you roll a 1, you take a reactor increase every time you roll a 1. So, like its bigger brother, the Sun Fury Plasma Annihilator, I used on a Warlord. First time I used it, I rolled 4 ones. So my reactor just went boom.
Oh, that's pretty funny, though.
Yes. But yeah, no, Warhounds are really, really good little Titan. They get overlooked quite a bit, but they are really, really, they are hunters.
Yeah.
So
you can put some damage on something and give them something to worry about, probably for a lesser point cost than other things in a way.
Yeah. So say like if you was going up against a shielded target, for example, you use the Vulcan Mega Bolter first, because it has a trait called Rapid. So if you roll a 6, that gives you another hit basically. So you could, if you rolled really well and rolled
so you can like keep climbing.
Yeah, so you could get 12 hits theoretically if you rolled 6 sixes. So that obviously helps strip shields down because obviously then people have to roll their dice to see if they save them. Once the shields are gone, you hit them with the big stuff, the plasma blast gun, and once, because with them you can't target locations on a Titan. You have to roll a dice to see where you hit. So once you do that, and hopefully you inflict lots of damage on that location, on the damage track, as you progress along the structural damage, you start getting bonuses. So like
Okay.
+1, +2, and +3. At which point, in the next turn, you can shoot that targeted area with your Vulcan Mega Boa, because instead of doing strength 4, you have
Okay.
strength 7. So it's easier to damage, sort of thing. So you do the old swap Rooney. But yeah,
No,
great
that's good.
Titan.
That's okay. So I get it. Like that helps me kind of wrap my head around a little. I mean, I knew how it would play, and I played Epic before and all that. I mean, I know this is different, but I mean, it's it's a game, same principles of how this is a quick strike one and how you strip shields and all that kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
it's definitely a game. I know I'm going to end up playing this. There's a few games I'm going to end up playing.
Yeah, no, the amount of people I've seen, like even recently, like posting pictures. Oh, look what I've got, and you go, ha ha ha! Another one has joined the fold.
They are. They. It seems from what I'm seeing online. It seems like a popular game because I keep seeing Titans all over.
Yeah, it's a very fun and enjoyable game to play. Even if you lose, you can
Yeah.
still have moments in that game where it's just like, oh, that's really cool, or like, yeah, that was just
Yeah.
silly, but you know, yeah, I blew up in your face.
Yeah. They. That's what to me. That's It was always just it's almost not RPG, but I like the story. Oh, your Titan either survived this or did an epic thing or wiped out. It's like you take some first Titan out and it just blows up. You're like, no. You have high hopes for a
Yeah,
maiden voyage of this wonderfully painted Titan, and this is going to be the battle honors. And it's like, nope.
that's I always say that the pretty ones die first.
Yeah.
They always, if you've got a well painted Titan, you just bring out the worst in people and they go, oh, it must die. Um,
Yeah, Mechanical Frog, you might be right. He says, I think it's tapping into the old school Battletech fan market, and it may be.
well, you say Battletech was around before
Yeah,
Adeptus Titanic. So you've got a large, because I like Battletech, but
I play.
I didn't
Yeah,
get
that's what I started
play
playing. Yeah.
until much later. I went the other way around. I did Adeptus Titanicus first.
Okay.
It weren't until later on that I sort of got hold of the models, well, a couple of models, nothing major, and like just had a couple of games with friends. So yeah, but it's anything big and mecha is always going to be quite popular in a lot of areas.
Yeah.
It's the same like with Battlefleet Gothic.
Yeah.
If they sort of bring that back out, that's going to be incredibly popular, because especially if they're going to be redoing the ships in a bigger scale, perhaps.
Yeah. I never
And
played that one, so I never played that game.
there's still a very big hardcore Battlefleet Gothic game, because a game that's similar to it is Drop Zone Commander, or even Armada, where Star Wars won.
Oh yeah.
It's all ship and stuff like that. But there's a lot of same with anything. There's only so much you can do with a game to make it new and vibrant and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's always a bit of plagiarism. But yeah, Gen X buying all the toys that we couldn't afford as children. Yeah, oh, totally.
Oh wait, Toffee Troll said, I've started to think if I shall convert a full army with Orc Titans, but play them as Adeptus Titanicus. See, that's the type of thing. I mean, especially if you're playing with friends, like absolutely, like that would be cool. It was just like, okay, if you have an equivalent of like if I did a Space Marine chapter, I would probably want to take something like, I don't know, Space Wolves, but then make my own chapter and just substitute one for one. So you're not reinventing anything. You're just, instead of doing a generic one, you do one that's based off of that.
No, I think Toffee Troll's just, he knows how upset I got about the night he did.
Oh, yeah. No, who did the one? Oh, I forget. I think it was Eruz. Didn't he do a Orc Titan kind of thing?
Yeah, I'm not sure if Eruz has changed his name to Toffee Troll.
Well, yeah, yeah, I know, but I think it was the time it was Eruz.
Yeah,
I'm
it
pretty
was.
sure
Yeah.
it is Toffee Troll and Eruz. If not, then we gotta tell us. But I think that Eruz.
Oh, Crimson's hit us.
Any Dune news? I haven't
He's
heard
asked
of.
the question that everybody wants to know. Is there any June news?
I haven't seen any.
No, it was something the other day where they're just saying about it's going to be. Obviously, they're going to do it as a cinema release because they were saying about doing it as like HBO or something, but then they're now saying no, it's definitely going to be a cinema release for it. Give me a garden.
Oh, I agree because I love the
Hey,
old
Heroes
movies.
is Toffee Top.
Yeah. See, so we were right. All right. I will forget. I wish everyone had the standard name like that. So I actually like, I try to pay attention to people and interact and like, get to know what they're working on. Like it's fun for me when I watch people get better and try things because it's just that natural motivation. It's like, oh, hey, you're around someone who's working and getting better. Well, I should be working and getting better type thing. And so when it's all the different names, I'm like, are you three people? Like I get them all confused and be like, I'll be talking to the same person and then they'll like message me or something. And then I'm talking to them like I don't know it's the person I just talked to under a different name. It's horrible.
Oh, there is Dune news that they were doing like a steel box edition DVD or collector's DVD type thing.
Really?
Uh, yeah, but it's not an extended version. It's like an original
Yeah, the
sort
original edit or whatever.
of version. There's loads of like bits and pieces thrown into it. So I'm going to see if I can find my friend who posted it up last week actually. Because it probably would have featured on last week's Paintover, because it was Dune news, and
Oh,
we
and
all
then
like Dune.
Mechanical Frog said a Dune board game, but couldn't find a copy anywhere. I
Because
didn't
they've
know
got a
that.
Dune role game coming out that I know of. Right, so this is the new title announcement coming in 4K ultra high definition in August from Arrow Video, which is the Dune ultra high definition with Zavi exclusive steelbook. No extended cut, as it has been officially removed from US distribution.
Oh, oh no,
uh,
that's
so yeah,
weird.
so it's like 4K with Dolby Vision and everything. Blah 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 blah. So a featurette talking about special effects and models that were involved and all part of this.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, this too, the making of Dune. Um, yeah,
I would watch
so
that. I don't know if I've ever watched a making of Dune. I did watch the making of was it Jordowski's or Jordwowski's
yeah,
Dune. I love that thing. I love
yeah.
that.
Well, that's just crazy. The way he went
Yeah,
around things like, oh yeah, me and this guy, um, I can't remember his name now. Who was like a screenwriter guy, basically going around and pitching this thing whilst getting
yeah.
high, smoking marijuana, and like, oh yeah, this is going to happen,
And I
and
couldn't
then when
believe
you get
it
employed to
didn't
do
dawn on me when they said Dolly was gonna play. I was like, oh my gosh, that was like or no, was it Dolly? Who was gonna play? No, it wasn't Dolly. Who was gonna play the Emperor? What's his face? Uh,
um, oh no, because they had
the eccentric artist, and I just couldn't believe. I was like, oh wait, that was his. Or was it Dolly? No. Why do I want to say it was Dolly? It wasn't Dolly.
uh, I know they had like like they had Mobius involved with like
Yeah,
the
Mobius. I want to see that sketch, but I would to see that art book that he had with there only like a few copies of it, with all the Mobius and their work in it and everything. That would be incredible.
Salvador Dali. I think it's Salvador Dali, or it was Picasso who was also associated with it.
And I
Pink
think
Floyd.
Mick Jagger was supposed to be
Yeah,
Wishnicott, I thought at one point.
yeah. There was so many names thrown out of it. It was like a who's who.
Yeah.
Um, because of that, it's probably scared people off.
Yeah, that's what
Because
it was.
so visionary.
Mechanical Frog says, "Do you guys get into board games at all?" I don't, and I would, but I don't. I don't play. I haven't played any in a while, so I don't personally. I enjoy them when I do play, but just whatever. Haven't been able to play. Do you play some board games, Lee?
Um, I played them with the kids, where
Gotcha.
uh, one of the favourite ones we have is the London board game, where it's basically like the London Underground, and
Okay.
so you've got to choose a station to start from, and then you've got to you pick out 6 destination cards, so and you've got to go to those destinations using the underground sort of thing. Um, so it's quite enjoyable. I quite enjoy it. So it's a fun little game that me and my 2 kids play. Obviously, Monopoly is never a good thing to play.
Yeah,
That
that's one of those.
always goes wrong, no matter what you do with it. Like the last Monopoly we played was hey, it's Matt. Um, the last it was a cheaters edition of Monopoly, where you're actually given the chance to actually cheat, sort of thing.
Oh,
So you
that's funny. I didn't
cheat
know that.
cards and stuff. So like I was actually pilfering money from the bank. I was like, I was the banker, and then when they were paying the money to the bank, I'm slipping myself notes at it. Because as long as you don't get caught, you're fine. So, but
I
yeah,
didn't know they had
so
such a thing.
yeah, no, it's one of the many different versions of Monopoly. But yeah, the Cheaters edition. I just thought, really? Do people need sort of an addition to cheat in Monopoly? Because I'm
So
sure,
wait,
where did that show come from?
he says you got the physical fights. And hi, apothecary. Thanks for making it. One, Lee. Okay, so wait.
Where's the beard?
What is this gun right here?
Um, it's a battle cannon. In the game, it has no impact in game.
Okay.
Same as the ones on the shoulders.
So these don't have
Um,
any impact.
no.
Okay.
So unless now this is wild speculate. Vulcan Mega Bolter.
Okay.
Uh, they do have an impact on the game, normally against your void shields. Um, but yeah, in Wild Speculationville, if they ever did do a imaging of Epic, sorry,
Yep.
um, then with that, because they in Epic they used to have flyers, so like for
Yeah, that's
planes.
anti-air or something. I would think.
Yeah, so because you've got Aeronautica Imperialis already out there with planes done in the same scale as Adeptus Titanicus, it would be make natural sense that they would actually merge the two together, as well as produce units for an epic game.
Okay.
So at that point, those guns would probably have a function. So
Ah,
those
see,
little
that makes
cannons,
sense. Yeah, they might because it keeps getting popular. You know that. I mean, it just makes business sense to try to build onto it.
totally, especially like with Epic, you could have Titans. So
Yeah.
like before, Adeptus Titanicus came out first, and then Epic and Space Marine and all that sort of thing came out afterwards. So,
Very true.
although funnily enough, they didn't have the scan, so that was the big thing about the original Epic is that the tanks are slightly off scale to everything
Yeah.
else. We're just trying to rush things through. But this time round, it will all be
Yeah, because
to
that makes a
one.
huge difference.
Hmm.
Just looking right to scale, that's like especially with these, because I love these things. You know what I mean? You get that right, and you can play with all the different units. How cool is that?
Well, I just noticed, obviously, because these are the suzerain plasma disruptors that they're wielding on this bad
Gotcha.
boy. Um, but the plasma glow is same on this as what Warus Taco did with his one.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
So they've
you're
gone for
right. The
green.
same. Yeah, the green. Do they? You said. Do they generally have a color? They do, right? Isn't there a couple colors?
Yeah, well, I've always seen blue as
That's what I thought. Okay.
plasma electricity, electrical coils charging up, all that sort of
Yeah, I
stuff.
just didn't
So
know if it. I know it could be anything that's 40K, but I just meant in books and stuff. I don't know what they.
well, yeah, like in computer games, plasma was blue, las guns were red.
Yeah.
Uh, in that, because melter guns don't, because they're like microwave weapons. They
Yeah.
actually have a discharge, and Volkites, um, which will be on pre-order on Friday for Adeptus Titanicus. You'll be able to get Volkite for your Titans from Forge World. They're red, like sort of thing,
Okay.
or tune. Tune is what you say when you're firing a Volkite, or tune.
Choom.
That's the official word by Aaron Debsky Bowden. Choo!
Choom.
As it fires and melts your insides.
And then miniature apothecary. Make sure you get that white dwarf coming out. Actually, everybody, you should pick it up. If you're watching this, you definitely should pick up next month's. Was it? What did I say? 465. I think it's
Oh,
465.
yeah, 465. Crimson,
Yeah.
to answer your question from earlier, no, I don't have a D&D game tonight.
Oh yeah, you were okay. But
Yeah.
I know you'll have some other stuff. So when you need to go, you just say the word. That's another reason I didn't know what the schedule is going to be. So I wanted to get some of these kind of worked on ahead of time.
That's looking awesome.
I love the.
Damn
This
you.
is a cool type. What's this thing, Lee? What's this? That big.
That's like a missile launcher. Again, has no impact on the game at
But like
present.
clearing probably land units or something if it was there.
Yeah, basically, yeah. So anti-infantry. So on the other knee, he's got las cannon,
Yeah.
which again, nothing to do with the game, but
If they
you can
wanted
either
to, they
have
could.
you can either have like two missile launchers, two las cannons, or one of each, as Glenn's done here with his one. Yeah, no, you say it was surprising when they came out. They said, "Oh, they don't actually have any impact on the game, but they look cool." And if we
Oh
ever do
yeah, the
get,
looks is a big for me. I mean, it's like that's like one of the it just looks cool, and they would have all kinds of anti-air infantry, whatever stuff, you know.
oh, totally, yeah, because the infantry are the bane to Titans, because infantry, if they get close enough, they can breach and go
Yeah,
around and kill everybody. So that's how you stop a Titan, but you got to get to them first.
they had oh, I always loved. I believe it was called the Corvus Assault Fist, and I always just loved that idea in the old ones. Just like they punch it in, and all the Terminators come running out into something. I was like, that was
Yeah,
always cool.
you had two. You had the Corvus Assault Pod, which was what you were talking there, like
Okay, it
an
was
arm
pod. I didn't know if it was pod. Okay, what was the other one?
was a head-mounted one, so like a siege tower. So your
Oh,
Titan would be
okay.
a siege tower. They also had like a macro cannon in the face,
Yeah,
so they
yeah,
had
yeah,
like
yeah.
a cannon sticking out of its mouth, sort of thing. You had landing pads, you had fire control towers, and all these things used to have an impact on the game. So, like fire control would add bonus around the Titan for your units to fire and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm. Um,
Good deal.
a Mechanical Frog, the game my buddies and I have been playing a lot. It's called Beyond the Sun. It's a worker placement engine building game that is amazing.
Huh.
It sounds quite interesting.
There's got to be so like now. I don't know when it started, but there was. It seems to me, at least, like a big board game revival.
Mm. Which was quite well over here. We actually have like board game cafes.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, they do have a little bit of that here, but it's probably not the same.
yeah, so you just go in there, play some board games, get coffee, um, or a snack perhaps.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was quite a few popped up several years ago around London and that, and they again got quite pop because of that whole sort of like gamer chic
Yeah,
sort of thing.
yeah.
So there was that, and obviously you get all like the gaming clubs for tabletop wargaming and stuff.
And it is probably something to do with just like a generation or two, like getting into some of the things and then working on them and making their version of what they wanted. So now they come out and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, totally, yeah. And so it's quite a good little thing to have, really, where you can congregate, meet your friends, or make friends when you're going to these sort of places
Yeah.
because there's so much. Like one of my friend's husbands, he does or husband, sorry, should I have multiple husbands, but he goes on to like online Roll20, which is like one of the main sort of online role playing
Yeah.
sites, and he actually plays alongside with like random people. You can find a game and just play alongside and get a campaign going with them,
Okay.
and is a lot more access to those sort of things.
I
Um,
know.
and
I've seen people doing, I think we talked about it one time too. Now people can play Dungeons and Dragons with video. You know what I mean? You got the video screen and you all like do that. And you can play online and have dice rollers on there and everything. It's like, wow. I remember as a kid, we played for hours and it would be on the phone because we wouldn't be able to get together and be like, okay, we want to play D&D, so we play on the phone. It'd be like 2 hour phone call, and then no one could ring through because back then you didn't even have call waiting.
no, that was it. Yeah, you basically just like got on with it.
Like your parents are
Yeah,
gone, let's play D&D on the phone.
they actually used to do like these phone games where you'd phone up a number sort of thing, and like
Oh,
you go through the door. Do you go left? Do you go right? Press one for left, run,
I
and
never did it, but I know what you're talking about because I remember, hearing about some of that. Yeah,
so they
they're probably charging
experimented.
$1 million a minute.
Oh, totally, yeah, yeah. It was either that or somebody was using the telephone for other sort of chat lines.
Yeah.
Blame the kids. What do you do? Play those role play games? What, 12 o'clock at night? I
That's a
I
different
was in bed.
category.
Yes. Gosh. Chloe eyes.
Do they? Does this have? Do they have multiple heads for this one yet, or is it like all one, or
Yeah,
what's
it
the?
comes with 3 heads.
How many?
So 3.
Oh wow.
So you've got that one. There's one that's similar but less spiky.
Okay.
Um, looks more like a knight helmet, basically.
Oh, I
So
remember that one now. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, and then you got one that's like a head, like a face, a
Gotcha.
robotic face, which is the one that I painted last week on my live stream.
Okay.
Um, that had that head
Oh,
on
so
it.
that's probably where I've seen it. Oh, and if you
Mm.
are watching and you are enjoying, please hit that like button. That helps me a lot. I was gone for those 10 days. I didn't. I think I only posted like one video, and you would generally get some clicks every a day or every few hours. Someone would come through and you could see it like dropping off as like if you missed that time spent, the algorithm is like, we don't like you anymore because you're not feeding us, and so they start like almost like throttling you down, and people are like, okay, I got to get back to it. They don't let you they don't let you catch no breaks.
No, no, there you go. Keep it on top of your game.
So, and I mean, that's why I'm glad I got a lot. So it's not like it's a big deal to post, but you just got to make sure you're doing it. And that's a
Mm.
lesson learned for me. Like, if I go do some stuff, at least have some pre canned ones where I can release every, at least a couple days or whatever.
As I said, the amount of content you do sort of put out with all your little paintovers and like speed ones and all that sort of thing, you've definitely got a lot of going on there.
I
So
know. That's what kind of prompted me. I'm like, I got the content. I'm like, why not just use it? Because at first, that's the last thing I wanted to do, and I was like, I'll talk about two later After issue 465 of White Dwarf, I will talk about what kind of prompted me to decide to do just live streaming and that. So I was kind of like, I got a fun little story about that.
Oh, he had to go and put Moloch on there.
And you got did you eat a little? You probably got to go and eat in a while, don't you?
No, that was my dinner.
All right.
I start the show with dinner.
These are vents on the front, right? These are like engine vents or something? Yeah. Okay.
Well, they're sort of intakes.
Okay.
Sort of thing. But there was, I think, a couple of artists that they painted like glows behind them. So it's sort of common to see that now.
I got you. It's like heat inside. Yeah, I can see that.
Because the I'm trying to think. Yeah, round the back there's these little like exhaust bits, not as big. Actually, no, you tell like that they are big. You're actually right around the back, sticking out the back, sort of thing. Quite huge. Thinking about it. Same as the Warbling, which you can't see the exhausts. Because trying to think. Yeah, they're all around the back. Yeah.
What's this on top? They almost look like, what are these things?
Oh, they're void shield generators.
All right. I should have put
so if you want to do some sort of like electricalness hanging around them, that wouldn't be amiss.
Yeah, I'll end up doing on this later. I will put, if those are generators, I got to look at some more of the art and see what people are doing with these just to get, but yeah, I should put some, that would be a good spot. Like if you got the generators, I could put like work and energy kind of thing into it.
Yeah, I was thinking of what I was looking at there. Let's say, because you've got obviously the glowy eyes, that box is ticked. Glowy plasma, ticked.
Yeah.
Shooty, tick, tick, tick.
I was like, I might. There's a little bit I'm debating. I can push some stuff in shadow again, and I'm debating on this, but it's one of those where it's like, okay, it's like on the free show, and just get it done. And see, because usually if I want to do it a little more, I put another layer and then highlight it just to build out more of that, I guess, sense of scale is what it helps with. But it gets tricky because you gotta, erase a good chunk of it and all that. But I usually would do something like this to, amp up the lighting, and you get that shadow like under their head where they're big and looming, and these things are so cool.
Yeah, they're massive.
What does this cost? What does this cost to buy, like in the store?
I think it's about, well, US dollars, probably around about $130.
Okay, I mean, so some pounds equivalent, or like whatever. What is it, like 80, 90
It's about £95 over here if you're buying it from Games Workshop.
Okay.
Whereas if you're going via an online like gaming store, that's not Games Workshop, you normally get a discount of like between 15 to 20%.
Yeah.
So a lot of people buy them from there as well. But that's the thing you got to weigh up is with Games Workshop, they've generally got the stock, whereas
there's sparkles. They're just tiny sparkles. Like, look, that's sparkles, but we got to do sparkles to scale. I get my sparkles in.
Yeah,
there's always sparkles. I don't even know if I've ever done one without sparkles.
So this particular Legio, which is the Legio Interfector, whose logothic name is Murder Lords. Yeah, it's a cool name. They actually, the armor coloration they have there, which is the black with the red trim, was based on the original Legio Mortis color scheme from the original AT release in '88.
Okay, yeah, it does look I think I even remember that. What wasn't that? It got showed a lot. That one, that scheme
Yeah,
got shown a lot. Okay, so that is the one I remember then, right?
yeah. So that were the bad guys in the original Adeptus
Yeah.
Titanicus. Had the Legio Ignatum with the red like superstructure with
Yeah.
the multicolored camo um, beetleback coloration. So that was the Ignatum.
I
So they
want
were
to
the
try to do
first
one yellow. Are there yellow ones? Like almost like
Legio Furion.
okay.
So, like with what Glenn's done here with the sort of white flamey things,
Yep.
they are primarily yellow with gold trim, but
Okay.
they have black flames on their armor.
See?
So, very iconic. And they were actually that similar color back in 88 as well.
Oh, oh wait, and whatchamacallit's open now? Are you ever going to run up there when you? I know you're busy. Do you have any plans in the next coming months to go up to the what Warhammer
I
World?
do. I do indeed. The plan is once I hit 100, that I will take them
Oh,
up to Warhammer World for
for an
basically.
for an Artist Empire promotional event. Good thinking, Lee. Good thinking. Like I like where your head's at.
Yeah, I'll go into the gaming hall and I'll speak with some of the guys there, and hopefully might be able to get hold of a table or two to just go up there so I can photograph all of
Yeah,
them
yeah.
on matte.
I mean, that's a
So
like. I think that's a worthy of. You know what I mean? That's a lot of Titans, Lee. Did you have to? Do
and
you have to go to like
the
Titans
as well.
Anonymous? Are you checking in a Titan? You still look like you're in a house. Like you're not. You didn't have to sell your house to afford your Titans, so I think you're okay.
Birthdays and Christmases
There you
for the most
go.
part. But yeah, so there'll be 100 knights, and it'll no, sorry, there'll be 100 titans, and there'll be 150 knights.
Oh my gosh.
So, well, my plan is to have them facing off, so traitors versus loyalists.
Yeah.
Although the loyalists outnumber the traitors presently
That's
in
the
the
way it
breakdown.
should be.
Yeah. So
Never fight
it's
fair
52
fight.
to 42, and one a black shield, which is you don't know whose side they're on.
No.
Although I have been thinking, because I'm not sure if this black shield project is going to continue, so I might just repurpose the black shield one into
Yeah.
another. So yes, build them up and then get them out on display. Well, that's the plan anyway. So once I can book a day off to do
Yeah.
that, then I can do that. I'll need to because at the moment I am suffering a bit from a bad back from
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
stuff at
That'll.
work. So and to drive up there, um,
How's it in the
it's you know
car? Does it bother you in the car?
initially yes. So it's been quite painful. It takes a bit of time with driving to sort of because I have one of those like um, little paddy things you put behind your back for your
Yeah, yeah.
lumbar below or whatever. Um, so it's positioning that. So when I'm changing gear, as you put your foot down on the clutch,
Yep.
I'll be getting like a bit of pain come through.
Yep.
But it's going to be a gradual thing. Back injuries are always a
Oh
pain
yeah.
anyway. So yeah. So once I get going onto a motorway, then you're not changing gear all the time, so it sort of eases up. But it's a lot of driving to get up to. Well, it's a 3-hour drive almost from where I live.
Yeah.
So it's definitely it's what I've been planning for ages.
Oh yeah, I gotta do it. Good.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad to hear you're promoting AE, so that's the important thing.
No, always, always. So
Oh
Ocean's
wait, a
11.
noob question. I like noob questions because I'm a total noob. So Okay, here comes a total new question. What is the difference between Titans and Knights? This is a good one for Lidafield. This is it. It gave him a softball. Watch him crush it. Watch him crush it.
Right. The main difference, the obvious difference, is size. So, also crew, because Knights are single person. They only have one pilot, whereas Titans have to have multiple crew. So you have a Princeps who commands the overall actions of the Titan, but you have a Moderati, which is you got a steersman, and then you have a helmsman. So
Wow.
they do all the driving part of things. The other thing that the Princeps has to do is not only coordinate with and command the steersman and helmsman, he also has to, or she, as obviously I'm reading Titan Death, there's a lot of female Princeps. The Princeps has to basically, with a force of will, basically keep the war spirit of the Titan in check.
Okay.
Because Titans are avatars of the Omnissiah, the machine god itself.
Okay, so that's what. Yeah, I that's what I kind of thought, but I wasn't up to date.
But knights are basically battle suits, in an effect, in some ways. They're not Titans. There has been mentioned wrongly in sort of Warhammer community posts, as has got mentioned once as a Knight Titan. They're not Titans. They are basically war suits, is their sort of terminology. The other thing is with Knights, they've been around in the 40k universe. They've been around a lot longer.
Okay, that's what I thought you said before.
Yeah, their earliest incarnation appeared and around within the golden age of technology, which was about 15,000, the year 15,000. And they've been around for at least 25,000 years, whereas Titans came later on. So probably, I think, mid to late 20s when Titans turned up.
Okay.
So Titans are the younger siblings, but they're the bigger, more powerful siblings because they just upscaled them.
Okay. I know. I'm just saying it does sound heresy because I listened to the one, before I listened to the Audible book with Balserius Call, great work and stuff. And I was like, oh boy, it sounds like we're on the verge of heresy with these boys.
Well, you again, if you're listening to Titan Death, the Forge world that supports the Legio Solaria is a forge world called Tigris, and they're quite progressive in some respects. Hey, Bossetti.
Wait, give me a second. I'm going to hit this on replay and then I will be muted and I'll play it back in a minute. I'll be back. We're going to give it a little time lapse action and you will do your thing.
Entertain the troops. Right, so Toffee, the Omnissiah sounds heresy, and I've heard that the STC tech that keeps them going. STCs keeps everything going. STCs, standard template constructions or constructs, are super rare things where it's basically before the heresy. There was recovering all the technology that was lost during Old Night. So you had the golden age of technology, then you had the Old Night when it basically went into the dark age of technology, where everything collapsed after the golden age, which was allegedly to do with psychers turning up and chaos for sort of being able to get into the universe. Thrown into there as well, I think I'm not sure if it was in the golden age, it might have been in the dark age, but there was also a huge conflict against AI, so the Men of Iron, which if you've got Black Fortress, is it Black Fortress? There is a Man of Iron character, so it's a robot that has survived many thousands of years and it's basically got Imperial sigils on there. to show it's part of the Imperium, but it was actually a man of iron. So there was a huge conflict with that whole debacle of AI. That's why the Mechanicum don't like AI. It's heresy to have artificial intelligence. So they'll have servitors and cybernetics, but they won't have straightforward AI. But yeah, STC is very rare. If a Space Marine Legion found a place with STCs, it could trade them in with a Mechanicum and get a lot of stuff out of them. And we're talking like the Mechanicum would pay them in like warships or new armor or preferential treatment for refits and stuff like that. They are very, very valuable. In Horus Rising, I think, or it might be False Gods, they discover a race, a technocracy, who had 2 STCs. One of them, which was a energy generator type thing, which was really, really effective, and the other one was basically power armor. So the Space Marines were going up against this technocracy, and they had normal troops in this power armor, which was enhancing them against Space Marines. So they fought really well. They did also have an STC machine, but they destroyed it before it was able to be captured in one piece, which would have been worth the galaxy if they had got hold of that machine, because it was just having a working STC machine. Well, it just would have just changed the game completely. But with the Mechanicum in the sort of heresy era and that, they're no longer innovators, they're replicators. So they can't create new stuff. The last chance of that went out with a tech adept, Coriel Zeph, who was the mistress of Magma City. So in the story of Mechanicum, one of the last creative minds in the Mechanicum was in there. But after the death of Innocence, which is the Martian Civil War, where the scrap code went wild, Magos and Adepts went against each other, and basically so much information that was found had been re-lost, because libraries, data banks were destroyed wholesale. So it regressed. And then from there, after the heresy, you got the more religious aspect was the sort of prominent side of things. So obviously the whole worshipping of machines, the whole religious side of things became more and more to the fore, because more of those people survived through the heresy than the free thinkers and scientist types.
Yeah. See, that lets me catch up. I told you, Toffee Troll, that he would fill you in on the difference between a knight and a titan.
Yeah, well, that's kept them going. But yeah, so knights and their war suits, and titans are titans. So
is the leader of a knight, is he wired in or something, like permanently, almost like a dreadnought, or are they like a free person?
A free person, same as princeps. They can come out. Most knights that were constructed that went off with the sort of colonization fleets in the Golden Age.
Yep.
They've got what they call a throne mechanicus. So the seat they actually sit in and they're wide into, over time, influences the person for maximizing their loyalty to a cause. So it's like that's where the whole knightly orders came into being, because they're like being told to be chivalrous and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So when eventually they were refound, a lot of the knight households, because being isolated for so long, they lost the ability to build their own suits, and maintaining them was really hard.
Yeah.
And then the Mechanicum turns up and goes, "Hey, we can help you guys. You sign up with us, and we'll see you right." And basically, they signed on, all with the Imperium. So they got
The 40K
from
world
that.
is so sprawling. It's like so massive now with all that stuff going on. It's like the amount of knowledge is like greater than one person can handle. You got to have a whole crew of information to figure it all out. It's so cool. I like it. Like you get lost in it. We could talk like this till how many years, and I'd still never catch up on everything.
Yeah, well, it's constantly changing, which doesn't help.
Yeah. Hey,
But
it's like, what do they say? Like, it's all half like legend and half whatever. So you hear some things and don't. So I just kind of roll with it. And
yeah,
if you are watching and you're enjoying, please hit that like button. It helps a lot. And these last couple replays are from the game Rain in Hell that was just released. So if you want to check that out, it's like a nice compact kind of rule set, but it kind of like it's one of those, what do they say when a game is like, it's like easy to get, hard to master kind of thing. You know what I mean? I get kind of that feel from what I've heard people talking about. So you can check it out at raininhell.com. So they were kind enough to hire me to do some of the artwork. So I thank for them for that. And just, I wanted to show some of the time lapses and some of the kind of demon pieces in here because it's themed in hell. So it was like when I got it, it was kind of cool because it just reminded me like, the old like chaos kind of stuff. And I always just like that setting where you can kind of creatively cut loose. And so in this, you can use a lot of different miniatures to make your own kind of cabal and try to reign in hell. So that was some of the artwork for the game. This one, which I'll speed up through here. And then I have more. I just didn't load them up because it was one of those things where I need all the space and they were done. I'm like, I'm going to put this away until they come out and I got to reload them up. This one was on there, and this is one of the ones in there. So you can always check that out. And thanks for joining us. We got up to like 13 people. And that's the thing
yeah,
with live streaming, it seems. You got to keep.
Stephanie joined us a little while ago. They did. You've probably seen. I retweeted it, which was this chaos warlord with like a flail. It's throwing a like
I
flaming
copied
ball.
that one. He was kind of charging, running. Yeah. I saw
Yeah,
that.
yeah. So it's like really awesome, sort of like corrupted titan with uber badassery oozing from it.
Yeah.
So that was really, really cool. And as I say, I think was quite well received across the whole of Twitter.
Yeah, because I
Yeah,
even saved that one. I was like, wait a second. I'm like, this is cool with like this flaming mace thing. I'm like, let me save that because whatever, it'd probably make a great Paintover. So I definitely know the one you're talking about.
TM was saying the STC is also a plot point for the Grey Knights novel, a Titan, if I'm not mistaken. Right. I don't know of that, but I'm just with the mention of Titan. The Titan is the home world of the Grey Knight. So just in case, I said I've not read it, so just in case you might have been getting confused with that, I don't know, but I'm just throwing that in there because Titan is their home world in well, there's a moon, but the Grey Knight's home world within the solar system. Crimson was saying Cool likes to push the boundaries of yes. Cool is an innovator. So he probably is the last innovator who survived from the heresy, and obviously he was given the task of creating the Primaris, but he was also in the great work, which obviously
Yeah.
you've or read. The Emperor is also sort of giving him charter to,
Yeah.
push
I
forward.
was surprised by that. I was like, oh wow, I caught a book where they really let it like push up. I didn't know this. We were just talking about it, and I think it's Bosetti. Forgive me if I'm pronouncing it wrong. I'm horrible. That's the one who did the Titan we were just talking about.
yeah,
So that's
yeah,
awesome. Thanks for joining us. I appreciate that. And glad you can listen at work.
yeah. He's yeah. I'll say with that because he mentioned he came onto my live stream the other day. And there was a couple of guys there who wanted to say, "Oh yeah, I've got this. You know, you've got to show pictures and all that sort of thing." And it's like, "Yeah, sure, yeah, go for it." But that was just like, again, it was like one of those models that comes along. You go, "Wow, that's just
Yeah.
awesome," you know,
When you can,
because
for me, when you
it's
can
everything.
really, when you can push that action aspect and it gets the fact that these things are like huge war machines, I love that. That's why, like, I really like this one too. Just that angle. And warhounds, they've always kind of been my favorite Titan. Just the look of them. You know what I mean? And I might be like, I don't know if there's some bias because I liked Space Wolves a lot. So you got the kind of the Hounds Wolf kind of thing going on. And they used to do the different head for them. You know what I mean? For this like a wolf type thing. So I
Yeah,
always
no,
dig those.
they've got that feral, hunting
Yeah.
look about. But even without the paint over, it looks cool.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
um, Cole was part of the crew that did the Space Marine project, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure on that particular.
I
Obviously, he done the Primaris,
I know I
but
think he was involved with that. I think I might even have been in that book, but I'm not sure. That's an interesting one. I want to say yes, but my grasp is very limited of that stuff. But I almost think it was covered in there that he did. I don't know if he came on during or something like that, but I think he had something to do with it. I know he's, remaking with the Primaris and all that, but I think he had something to do with the start too.
he, in the Heresy, he first appears in I think it's Wolf King,
Oh, okay.
um, the other Wolf book, which I can't remember the certain, where he's basically backpacking around Forge Worlds. So he's been going to
Okay.
Forge Worlds to learn how to do certain things. So he spent time on Riser, and he was currently at this other Forge World where Horus, his fleet turns up, and they're fighting against them, and he sort of escapes with one of his sort of because he's only even like he's a low level tech adept, but his secret is because he's been like backpacking between Forge Worlds. He shouldn't be doing that. He should choose a one area and that's it. But he's been going
Yeah.
and learning other stuff, and then also self-modifying, which is also technically illegal in the eyes of the Mechanicum.
Ooh, we got it.
Um,
We got an outside answer. Tyrant Inc. says Call was not part of the original project. I think he was born already during the Crusade, but he was given all the resources and research the original team have. Interesting.
yeah, yeah.
See?
So he was like
Thank
one of
you.
these parts that turned up, and basically, as I said, that's why he caught the eye of Rabute Guliman to say,
Yeah.
like, after the heresy, he's going, look, we've got this because in that book that you've read,
Mm-hmm.
he was going to get his personality and stuff absorbed by
Yeah.
that Magos, and he switched it around and absorbed him back.
Yeah.
So that's what he does. He also in Wolf. I'm sure it's Wolf King.
I thought that was a cool aspect of what he did with that. All he gives Zord, like, okay, yeah, this is a crazy character because now he's got all kinds of extra stuff going on.
Yeah, he basically learned stuff, and then he basically took over. He got in that Wolf book, whichever it's called, which is really annoying me now. Um, the Archmagos, who was in charge of the forge place he was at, um, he basically got hold of her, and she had like about a dozen canisters around her, which had like embryos of her
Yeah.
clone, with
Yep.
all her information and knowledge put into them. So he basically took one, destroyed the rest, and then absorbed that to get all her. So that's why he became really good at sort of like
Oh, okay,
warfare
okay.
stuff as well as other things. But he's basically going around absorbing and learning stuff and then applying it. And there was a bit of foreshadowing because the way she was like how cool is in the 40k universe,
Yeah,
where he's like huge and all that. Because he found that look repulsive because he was trying to keep his sort of humanity a bit, but eventually he has become like her, where he's like huge body and all that
yeah,
sort of. But yeah, and obviously he got hold of the former like head of the Mechanicus uh, on Terra, absorbed his information. So he takes on all these informations. He's not doing it out of spite. He just sort
no,
of
he thinks he needs it, and you know what I mean,
yeah,
to keep it going. Yeah,
yeah. So he's obviously, and he is. I think that Cool has got, you know, and the Emperor wouldn't have charged him with doing what he's doing in his great work. You know,
yeah.
the Emperor knows what he needs and he utilizes the right people at the right time.
That's
And Cool is that person.
so. I don't know. Spoiler alert. We probably spoiled the whole thing already, but I was
But then they're not real spoilers. I wouldn't have thought. You
no,
know.
just that the emperor kind of like approved of it. Like, so when you're in that book and you kind of get that interaction, I was like, okay, because I was like, is this the Bridge of Heresy? Am I going to have to throw this book out? But then I didn't know if I was going to have to throw the book out or not. But it saved the day, and the emperor kind of approved of that stuff. So I was like, all right, then he knows what he's doing. It's not reeking of heresy.
I was just TM was saying about it was a Titan, a super advanced AI controlled one that Chaos corrupted. Our hero was losing until he convinced it was a demon, and then his plot armor kicked in and murdered it. Wolfsbane, thank you, TM. It's Wolfsbane.
Right.
Because Wolf King, that came out, and I know several Space Wolf fans, and one in particular was very vocal about how much he didn't like it and how much he didn't like the portrayal of Layman Russ, and that was
Oh,
he was
gotcha.
calling for
Yeah.
Russ to be, he should have been executed because he was not doing what he should do and all that sort of stuff. And the problem with the Primarchs is that they're not perfect. They are infallible,
Yeah.
and they are based on imperfect genetics. You
Mm-hmm.
know, they're based on humans, and we're not perfect by a long shot. And all their things are magnified. So you know, if there's flaws, they're going to be
Yeah.
big, sort of thing. But Russ at that time had just committed to Prospero and practically destroyed a legion and his brother, sort of thing. Although, and he did try to not do that, but he got manipulated into doing what he did, and he'd been manipulated in another thing. So everything he'd done at the early stages of the heresy, he was second guessing himself because he didn't know who to trust, and you know, there's doubts, and he was there trying to make sense of everything because he didn't know what he could trust in.
Yeah.
And when he does, he commits, and then they go off and do stuff. And then in Wolfsbane is when Cool turns up, and he's at this forge facility on like a gas planet or whatever. And when the traitors turn up, and then Russ turns up because he has decided that he has to take on Horus because it's
Yeah.
his job. So it all kicks off, and shenanigans ensue. And obviously, you've got Cool running around doing what he's doing.
Oh, I didn't know that was during that. I'm gonna have to like. I'll have to get something to read some of that. I haven't. He's always like the Space Wolves were kind of like my first main army and all that, so I always dug it. So it'd be nice. Like I should check out some of that and catch up on it.
Well, yeah. So like Wolf King, I eventually listened to it, and off the strength of how much I enjoyed it, I then went and got Wolfbane.
See, I almost can't listen because I don't consider it canon because in my mind, no Space Wolves ever really die, and they always win. So like when I listen to those books, I'm like, you guys don't know how to do Space Wolves. They don't ever die. Like no, they're always perfect. I'm like, I don't know why they let these fan fiction stuff in here. So
That's the thing. Everyone has their favourite
yeah.
legion or chapter, and you embrace it as best you can, really.
So I just that's what works for me. That like I'll see people talk about what's canon or not canon. It's like no, I'll let you know what's canon or not canon. I have
But
no
that's the thing.
problem. I'll
They
straighten
change
it
it all
all
the
out.
time
Like
as
I haven't
well.
read
Like,
any of these books, but I'll let you know what canon is. Like just ask.
especially
I have
considering
no
Space
problem.
Wolf.
Oh, that book? No. Wait, I'll be like, does Space Wolf die in it? Yeah. Well, that's not canon.
They simply cannot die.
Yeah. So exactly. So I don't even have those problems.
So all the chapters are cool. All the legions are cool. They all have their own little sort of little thing.
Mm-hmm.
But it's really only like the word bearers. I think are quite disliked in most circles, especially Erebus. Most people hate Erebus,
Yeah.
um, but you know it's funny. Like you get impassioned debates going between fans of each like legion and stuff like
Yeah.
that. And I remember one of my friends who's now actually a Black Library author, Mark Collins.
Okay.
He's had a couple of things published now. He's done one short story which was based on a Titan, funny enough, which I can't remember the name. And in the new sort of like Warhammer crime
Oh
series,
yeah, yeah,
his
yeah, yeah.
first novel come out. But he is a fanatical chaos sort of follower, and the amount of discussions we've had against it, saying like, oh yeah, you know, because most of them go, oh, it's freedom of choice and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, freedom of choice. If you want to choose to be a trader, you can choose to be a trader. I just don't fancy having horns spouting out of everywhere and pustule. Right? It's
Yeah,
not a
Nurgle.
good
I'll
look.
be like, I'll pass on the whole Nurgle thing.
Yeah, yeah. No thanks to the Nurgle, and I don't want to be a long-necked, winged
Yeah.
beastie of Zench
Yeah.
or a miscreant of Slanesh. You know, that's not right.
Just doesn't
Oh
feel
yeah,
right for
the
me.
tyrant.
Not
Well,
a good
yeah,
fit.
he's a bit of a tyrant. Have you tried? Have you tried herding cats? Because that's what the Emperor's doing. Humanity are the biggest collection of cats out there, and he's trying to herd us to stop us from dying. And we're just going, no, no, screw you, hippie. I don't
it's
want to do that.
it's going to be interesting to see like who they bring back and what over the next I don't know decade or so. They'll be
Hmm.
sneaking some more in and all that kind of stuff. So it'll be interesting. I mean, it took a long time for them to take that next step of bringing back a Primarch and stuff. I mean, that was a long time.
Hmm. Right. Thank you, Toffee Troll, for joining us. It was always a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you very much. And I
Um,
think on that note, we might end here shortly. That way you can get some stuff in. We had a nice, whatever, 2 hour stream. It went good. I
yeah.
think I did mostly good on the intro. I got that in this time. We
It
still got to think
worked.
of a name. If you're watching and I don't know, come up with some sort of name or what we could call this show or what I do or how we explain this. Yeah, we still got to do that after 16 of these. We should have an idea.
We should, but we haven't.
I know. I'll put in the small corner in small text. I'll put and Dune
And Dune, yeah.
and Dune. So
Beer and
on that note, I guess thanks to everyone again for joining us. I was glad to be back and get some work in on these. I still have to post some of not last week's, but the week before. I don't even think I posted the finished ones of a couple of these. So I'm gonna post that on Twitter so the people who I did the paintovers for can get those images, and then I'll post the new ones I did today. And remember, if you like my work, pick up issue 465 of White Dwarf. You should check that out. And I think that's really it. I don't think I have anything else. Anything you want to say in closing, Lee?
No, just thanks for another. Welcome back, and thanks for another
Yeah.
lovely stream. As Toffee Troll said, thanks for a lovely stream.
And
It's fun.
you're streaming Saturday again?
Yeah. Forge of Mars will be back at the. I still haven't decided what the hell I'm going to do.
Okay.
It'll be a Titan. It'll either be building one or painting one. Hopefully, painting one. That's just one of the second heads on that.
Oh yeah, that's where I seen the Night Head, because I wanted to do this one, and it'll eventually. This is a great pose. I love the vehicles coming from the what, Land Raider. Like, it's probably a cannon.
Oh, that's a Typhon heavy siege tank.
Okay, yeah. It was just
Always
foot
one.
up like that. Looks so cool. It's such an impressive one. So I was like, I'll end up doing this one. I love these Titans. So, Massetti, thanks for joining us. Great work on your Titan as well. And I think I will hit